Hey there, it's Jessica Joy. This is my story Solutions, and today we are going to go over the 4 people that you will see in the State House. The 4 people that you are going to see in the State House. Okay, let me help you this. A little background here. Former youth pastor, once raised, sprawled into the porn industry, went to the nation's top faith-based sex trafficking recovery, went on the road of public speaker. Then I started into legislation in 2017 with now porn legislation in 36 states. So there were since Christ followers completely abandoned government decades and decades and decades ago, everyone who is in the State House yeah, they're not Christ followers. So they're all prostitutes. I'm like, oh, prostitutes. This is the same thing, prostitution. So everybody's bought, everybody has a walking price tag over their heads. So I've learned everything the hard way. I want you to know that when I first started lobbying, I thought like, everybody loves a sex trafficking victim. Everybody loves a victim. Everybody, like, this is the new Africa. Let's talk about this. And I thought everybody's my friend. Everybody wants to protect kids from pornography. And I went in thinking like, my reputation was the girl who never stopped smiling. And so I thought everybody's my friend. Everybody's out for me. Everyone wants to see me win. No. So now I'm going to let you know the truth of who you are looking at whenever you walk into the State House and the attitude that you go in with. Okay, so I want you to think of Rahab taking over. I want you to think of Rahab, the 2 spies that were sent in, and the Battle of Jericho. We are in the Bible. Joshua chapter 2 verses 1 through 24. Okay, so when the spies went in to take over a territory that did not belong to them, do you think they were like, oh my gosh, everybody, I'm here, you've been waiting for me, I'm your gift, I know I'm here to set the people free, I'm here to blind eyes open, I'm here because you've been waiting for me. No. When the spies went in, they got their mouth shut, they scoped out the land. Okay, so when you go into the State House, I want you to think the same way. Okay, so I'm letting you know what you're looking at, and also letting you know that I love your street witness, your testimony. We have become by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. But I guarantee these spies who are about to take over this land that did not belong to them, they weren't like, oh my gosh, let me tell you my relationship with God. I love God so much. Oh my God. Okay, so no. Ooh, warrior face. We are taking over land that does not belong to us. So let's go over the different folks that you are going to see in the State House. You're going to see other lobbyists. You're going to see a sergeant of arms. You're going to see legislative assistants, and you're going to see legislators. I'm going to show you pictures of all. Please stay tuned. I'm going to show you like... So since we fully abandoned government, we fully abandoned the State House, we fully abandoned city councils and school boards, we fully abandoned. So we don't come into city councils and school boards and thinking that like we're their gift and they've been waiting for us. No, they're going to go, they're going to hate you. But they're going to hate you because of the Christ inside of you. They don't reject you, they reject Christ inside of you. Okay, so we are taking over a land that does not belong to us. We gave it up decades ago. So none of these folks, they are going to kill your bills instead of help you. So this is not the time to like tell them about, just like the spies, I'm gonna tell everybody about God. No. Wise as serpents, gentle as doves, learn what I did. The more I talked, the more that the people worked against and killed my legislation, okay? So these people are paid 6 figures to kill our legislation. They stay in super mansions, they have like Range Rovers, and the last thing, they are not excited about your testimony. They are not excited about your zeal about life. They are excited about their next filet mignon, okay? These people are paid 6 figures and they have mouths to feed and families to feed. So they're going to look at you as like the enemy. I don't care how much you smile and how much you want to share your little sage oils and whatever and shake up whatever on them. Like, they are not your friends. They are going to stab you in the freaking face. Yes. Okay. So the first people that you are going to see are other lobbyists. Okay. So since Christ followers are not in there, all of these are paid Judases. Everybody has a price tag over their head. Yeah, if you don't bring a steak dinner to wine and dine these folks, if you don't bring money to their campaign coffers, they hate you. You're wasting their time and they want to stab you in the face. They don't care how excited you are to be there for the first time, okay? Just letting you know the temperature. So the first thing that you're going to see is moms demand action. Since we moved out, secular humanism has fully moved in. They're there every single day. They call them minute moms, moms who can get to the Capitol with like a 5 or 10 minute notice, like minute moms. They're at the Capitols. They wear mom demand action. They are not bipartisan whatsoever. If you bring in something and you start talking about Jesus, they're going to make sure that your porn filter bill dies, that everything you touch dies. These people have years of relationships. So yeah, they're not excited to see you. They are not your friend. And when I started in legislation, we thought like, well, look, these people are already here, so maybe they'll take our bill with them. No. No, they're actually insulted if you hand them another bill that's not theirs, that they're not getting paid for. That moms demand action, they're very focused. They don't like you. You're also going to see Planned Parenthood. Women who are in suits, who don't have a lapel pin, most likely are social justice warriors, taking all of their man hate out through legislation. So they, so on their group activities, they're all wearing matching outfits. But 5 days a week, 4 days a week, they're there around the clock from when the door opens to when the door closes to build relationships. The very thing that has been counterfeited and adulterated, they're there to build relationships. So do not talk to women in the elevator. Every single state house I went to, I took pictures of, I was like, and there's Planned Parenthood, and there's Planned Parenthood, because I was talking to them, and they did let me know what they were doing, and I shut my mouth really quick. So they're there every single day. We are on their turf. This is their territory, and they hate us, okay? So men most likely work for tech companies. So one day they'll work for Apple, then they'll work for Wells Fargo, and then they're contracted Judases. Let me give you an example. I was friending South Dakota. I accidentally friended Jordan Mason. He's a paid prostitute. He was like, tell me everything you're doing, tell me. So I just pour out my heart to him, and he makes it clear that he lobbied to kill our porn legislation. And then, like, I'm helping my dad with wood, whatever, so I immediately get back to him and, you know, chop wood, load up the house, firewood, you know, like normal people stuff. And I get back to it, and he's like, well, I don't have time to waste. I'm paid for my time. Don't waste my time. Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. Then I realized he's a paid Judas. He has mouths to feed. Jordan Mason, I'll post his picture. Judas. Run. Okay. So you're going to see, number one, other lobbyists. Not your friend. Not the time to evangelize. They have decades more experience and more organization than we do, and they will ruin everything that you touch if you talk about Jesus. Whereas you are like, ooh, I showed up to the State House once an entire year. They're there every single day. This is like what they do. They take out all their aggression with legislation. So other lobbyists. Number two, Sergeant of Arms. Sergeant of Arms have been there for decades. Like, this is not your Walmart greeter. These people know everybody. They know who's who. They know what the time. Like, you come in with humility when you see Sergeant of Arms. They have lots of patches, lots of little, like, their outfit is very obvious. And if you do not, if you don't know the rules and the protocol, ask, hey, do you know who the Sergeant of Arms is? Always go through the Sergeant of Arms. Never step onto the floor. Never. I can't even emphasize this enough. Okay, so when the House is in session or the Senate is in session, never go in the room. Never, ever, ever, ever go into the room, like, without permission. They call people off the floor to bring people off the floor to talk to you. Always start off with, I'm a constituent. If you're not a constituent, they don't want to talk to you. So always start off with, I'm a constituent. You'll immediately have their attention. Whenever you send in to call them off the floor, which we'll do in another video, always start off with, I'm a constituent. But Sergeant of Arms, they've been there for decades. They're going to be there for decades later. They're supposed to be nonpartisan, but treat them. Don't snap at them like you win a server. You don't snap at them. You don't act aggravated. You come in with humility. If you're asking a question, most likely they've heard it. They're going to tell you when the session lets out, when the session comes back in. Does it come back in later tonight? Are they holding a special session? Like, there is no set calendar. A lot of times when you only have a month or two to do legislation, they're rolling with the punches, and these legislators are having like a 15, 20-hour day. Yeah. So how you're going to be memorable is start off with, I'm a constituent. If you're a constituent, okay. So Sergeant of Arms, be super respectful. And then number three, legislative assistants. Oh my goodness. Okay, so where people get elected out every 2 years, these people never leave. They've been there for 5 years, 10 years. Your gatekeepers are legislative assistants. They are going to tell you who to talk to, who not to talk to. They know the good, the bad, and the ugly. They know what committee that this most likely will be sent to. If they clam up and they don't answer any questions, they don't like you. Okay, the ones that they have buy-in, if you only focus on Republicans, like my job was to if we had only 2 or 3 hours, I would focus only on committees in the House and the Senate that had to do with families. Will our bill eventually be heard from all the House? Yes. Will it be heard from all the Senate? Yes. But it will go through judiciary and the family focused committees first. So you're focusing on those family committees and the judiciary and only the Republicans, because one bill will kill the other. My goal is to have you guys with 45 bills, 45, and you're only focusing on Republicans in the House and the Senate, who you know are not rhinos, who you know are diehard Christ followers. If they're not diehard Christ followers, that's because we haven't been running for office. Okay. So be super nice to Sergeant of Arms, be super nice to legislative assistants, ask them lots of questions, come in super humble, and last but not least, legislators. That's the last person that you're going to see. They have pins on them. We would walk to them to their car. Legislator, do you have, Senator, do you have a second? Representative, do you have a second? Do you have a second? Hey, and we would lobby them as they walk to their car, hey, do you have a second? Oh, you're on your way to lunch. Great, this is perfect. If you have your talking points down to 5 minutes, what's the first priority that you lead with? Why is it in the state of Kentucky or the state of Nebraska or the state of Kansas, a 12-year-old cannot go to a rated R movie, but can walk around with the XXX theater and distributed by Verizon in the size of an iPhone? That's a double standard. You always start off with that. I've watched a million legislator faces. They all respond to that. It's a double standard. Or this is the digital version of the physical blinder statute, which is in all 50 states, saying that, okay, so anytime that you talk about how your life story, people want to hear about children. Anytime that you, and I'll do another video on this, what do you focus on if you have 3 minutes? What do you focus on if you have 7 minutes? Always bring things back to children. Or is it not illegal to distribute pornography to minors? The fact that there's parental controls is admittance to a defective product. But I wanted you to recognize who you're looking at when you go into the State House. The other lobbyists. Jordan Mason. Don't befriend everybody. They are paid to kill your bills. Then Sergeant of Arms, legislative assistants, and finally legislators. They have the pins on them. Look for lapel pins. Those are legislators. Thanks so much. Make good choices. Talk to you later.